The sun was dipping low over the Pacific, casting a golden hue on the waves crashing against the Malibu shore. When I first felt that electric pull toward Mark, my dad's longtime straight friend. I was 22, fresh out of college, and this trip was supposed to be a simple getaway. Me tagging along because Dad couldn't make it due to work. But as Mark laughed at my awkward attempt to surf, his hands steadying my board, I realized this vacation was about to unravel secrets neither of us expected. My name is Alex Thompson, and growing up in suburban Chicago, life had always been predictable. Dad was a mechanic, Mom a teacher, and I was the quiet kid who preferred books over sports. Coming out as gay at 18 had been a non-event. My parents were supportive, but they kept it low-key, like it was just another fact about me. Mark had been around since I was a kid, Dad's fishing buddy, the guy who'd show up for barbecues with stories from his days in the Marines. He was 38 now, divorced for 5 years, with a rugged charm that made women swoon and men envy him. Straight as an arrow, or so everyone thought. We arrived in California on a crisp June morning, the rental car humming along the coastal highway. Mark drove with one hand on the wheel, the other drumming to some old rock tune on the radio. "Your old man owes me for this," he joked, glancing at me with those piercing blue eyes. Babysitting his kid on my first real vacation in years. I rolled my eyes, but inside, my stomach twisted. I'd always had a crush on Mark. Harmless, I told myself, like admiring a movie star. But being alone with him for 2 weeks, that was uncharted territory. Our beach house was a modest bungalow in Malibu, steps from the sand. The first few days were easy. Mornings jogging on the beach, afternoons exploring tide pools, evenings grilling steaks and sharing beers. Mark opened up about his ex-wife, Sarah, how their marriage crumbled under the weight of his deployments and her loneliness. "I thought I had it all figured out," he said one night, staring at the fire pit. "But life has a way of flipping the script." I nodded, sharing my own stories, failed dates, the pressure of being the gay son in a straight world. He listened, really listened, without judgment. Then came the hike in the Santa Monica Mountains. We set out early, the trail winding through chaparral and offering stunning views of the ocean. Halfway up, a sudden rain shower hit, drenching us to the bone. We ducked under a rocky overhang, laughing at our misfortune. Mark stripped off his shirt to wring it out, his toned body glistening in the faint light. I tried not to stare, but my eyes betrayed me. "You okay, kid?" he asked, catching my gaze. I mumbled something about the cold, but the air between us thickened. As the rain eased, he placed a hand on my shoulder. "Alex, you've grown into a hell of a guy. Don't let anyone tell you different." That touch lingered, igniting a spark I couldn't ignore. Back at the house, over dinner, the conversation turned personal. Mark admitted he'd been questioning things since his divorce. Friendships, attractions, the whole straight guy facade. "Society boxes us in," he said, his voice low. "What if I've been wrong about myself?" My heart raced. Was this real or just the beer talking? I shared my fears, the judgment from family, the risk of heartbreak. But in that moment, under the stars, our vulnerabilities collided, pulling us closer. The next day, tension simmered. We visited a local LGBTQ+ center in Los Angeles, ostensibly for me to connect with the community, but Mark seemed genuinely interested. He asked questions, debated stereotypes with volunteers. "I've got gay friends in the military," he said later, "but I never thought about it deeply." That evening, as we walked the beach, he stopped and faced me. "Alex, this trip is making me see things differently, including you." His words hung heavy, a confession wrapped in uncertainty. Conflicts arose subtly at first. A call from Dad interrupted our budding connection. "How's Mark treating you?" he asked innocently. I lied, saying everything was fine, but guilt gnawed at me. Mark's phone buzzed with texts from old flames, reminders of his straight life. "What are we doing?" I whispered one night as we sat on the porch. He sighed. "I don't know, but it feels right." Our exploration deepened in San Francisco, where we drove next. The city's vibrant pride flags waved like beacons, and Mark's curiosity piqued. We wandered Castro Street, hand in hand tentatively, blending into the crowd. "This is wild," he admitted, eyes wide at the drag shows and street performers. But beneath the excitement, doubts crept in. Mark worried about his reputation back home. A small-town hero suddenly questioning his sexuality? "People will talk," he said, his face etched with fear. I pushed back, my emotions raw. "And what about us? Are we just an experiment?" The argument escalated in our hotel room, voices echoing off the walls. Mark paced, torn between desire and denial. "I've never felt this way about a guy," he confessed, pulling me into a hug that spoke volumes. It was tender, charged with unspoken promises, but the drama intensified when his ex-wife called. Sarah sensed something off, probing about the trip. Mark hung up, frustrated. "She still thinks she owns me." Back on the road to Big Sur, the scenic drive mirrored our turbulent path. Fog rolled in, obscuring the cliffs, much like the uncertainties clouding our minds. We stopped at a viewpoint, the ocean roaring below. "Alex, I care about you," Mark said, his voice breaking. "But this could destroy everything. Your family, my job." I felt the weight of societal expectations, the whispers in Chicago, the potential backlash from conservative circles. Yet, my heart screamed to fight for this. A pivotal moment came during a campfire at Pfeiffer Beach. As purple sands glowed under the keyhole arch, Mark shared his deepest secret, a fleeting attraction to a comrade in the Marines, buried under layers of machismo. I pushed it down, got married, played the part. Tears welled in his eyes, vulnerability stripping away his tough exterior. I held him, our connection solidifying amid the crackling flames. But reality intruded, a text from Dad inviting Mark to a family barbecue upon return. The implication hit hard. Secrecy or revelation? Tensions boiled over in Monterey. We attended a local LGBTQ+ support group, where stories of coming out late in life resonated with Mark. One man, in his 40s, spoke of losing friends but gaining authenticity. Mark gripped my hand under the table, but afterward, doubt resurfaced. "What if I'm just confused?" he argued in the car. I snapped, "Or what if you're finally honest?" The silence that followed was deafening, a chasm of unspoken fears. Reconciliation came slowly. At the aquarium, watching jellyfish drift ethereally, Mark turned to me. "You've shown me a world I ignored. I want to explore it with you." His words mended the rift, but external pressures mounted. A chance encounter with an old Marine buddy in a bar led to awkward questions. "Who's the kid?" the friend asked, eyeing us suspiciously. Mark deflected, but the incident shook him, highlighting the societal minefield we navigated. As we headed south toward Los Angeles again, our bond grew amidst the drama. Late-night talks revealed Mark's internal struggle, the fear of labeling himself, the guilt toward his past. I shared my own battles, rejection from dates who saw me as too feminine, the pressure to conform. Our dialogues were raw, laced with emotion, forging a deeper understanding. Yet, controversy loomed. Back in Malibu, a heated debate erupted over dinner. Mark questioned if our age gap, 16 years, made this unethical. "I'm like an uncle to you," he said, anguished. I countered, "Age is just a number. It's the connection that matters." The argument exposed raw nerves, societal taboos clashing with personal desires. We slept apart that night, the house heavy with unresolved tension. Dawn brought clarity. Over coffee, Mark apologized. "I don't want to lose this." We spent the day surfing, his guidance turning playful, reigniting the spark. But as vacation waned, the real world beckoned, forcing choices that would define us. The drive to Yosemite was meant to be a highlight, but it became a crucible for our emotions. Towering sequoias loomed like silent judges as we hiked Yosemite Valley, the mist from waterfalls cooling our heated discussions. Mark opened up about his conservative upbringing in rural Texas, where being gay was a sin whispered in church pews. "My dad would disown me," he admitted, voice trembling. I shared my own family's subtle expectations, Dad's pride in my normal life, Mom's worry about my safety in a divided America. A near miss on the trail amplified the drama. Mark slipped on loose rocks, and I caught him. Our bodies pressed close in adrenaline-fueled panic. "You saved me," he whispered, but the moment underscored our fragility. That night in the cabin, stars blanketing the sky, we confronted the elephant in the room. "What happens after this?" I asked. Mark hesitated. "I need time, Alex. This isn't just about us. It's careers, families." Conflict escalated when Mark's boss called about a promotion requiring relocation to a red state. "They'd fire me if they knew," he fretted. I felt betrayed. "So you'll hide forever?" The fight was intense, words like daggers. "You're young, you don't get it," he shouted. Hurt, I stormed out, wandering the dark paths, tears mixing with the night air. Hours later, Mark found me apologetic. "I'm scared, but you're worth the risk." Rebuilding trust took effort. We visited a queer-friendly cafe in the park, where couples like us shared stories of triumph over adversity. Inspired, Mark vowed to explore therapy upon return. But societal backlash hit closer. A viral news story about a Marine outed and ostracized mirrored his fears. "That could be me," he said, pale. In Lake Tahoe next, crystal waters reflected our turbulent souls. Skiing on the slopes, no, it was summer, so boating instead brought levity, but undercurrents persisted. Mark received a judgmental email from his sister, suspecting his extended bachelorhood. "Family expectations crush you," he confided. I nodded, recalling my cousin's homophobic rants at reunions. Our bond strengthened through these revelations, but the age difference sparked another clash. "People will call me a predator," Mark worried. "Or me a fool," I retorted. The debate raged, exposing insecurities. A turning point came during a sunset cruise. As the sky blazed orange, Mark took my hand publicly for the first time. "Screw the world," he declared. Passers-by stared, some smiling, others frowning. A microcosm of society's divide. That act of defiance ignited passion, but also fear. Back ashore, a confrontation with a bigoted tourist yelling slurs tested us. Mark stood firm, defending me, but the incident left scars. Heading back south, the road trip's end loomed. In Vegas for a night, the city's excess contrasted our introspective journey. Amid slot machines and shows, Mark proposed a pact. "Let's take it slow, but real." I agreed, but doubt lingered. A call from my mom, sensing my distraction, added pressure. "Is everything okay with Mark?" she asked. Lying felt wrong, amplifying the moral quandary. Drama peaked in the desert heat of Death Valley. Stranded with a flat tire, we waited for help, the isolation forcing brutal honesty. Mark admitted lingering attractions to women. "Am I bi? Gay? I don't know." I felt insecure. "Then what am I to you?" The argument was cathartic, ending in mutual understanding. "You're the one who woke me up," he said. As we neared home, resolutions formed. Mark decided to come out to a trusted friend first. I promised support, but the vacation's revelations stirred controversy. Was this love or a midlife crisis? Society's judgments loomed large. Returning to Chicago felt like stepping into a pressure cooker. The familiar skyline loomed, a reminder of the life we'd left behind. Mark dropped me at my parents' house, our goodbye lingering. A quick hug masking deeper emotions. "We'll talk soon," he whispered. Inside, Dad clapped me on the back. "How was the trip with old Mark?" I forced a smile, the secret burning like a coal in my chest. Days blurred into routine. Job hunting for me, Mark back at his construction firm. Texts flew between us. Flirty at first, then profound. "Miss the beach," he'd write. "Miss you more," I'd reply. But secrecy bred paranoia. At a family dinner, Dad mentioned Mark's odd mood lately. My heart skipped. Was he suspecting? The first major conflict hit when Mark's ex, Sarah, showed up unannounced at his place. She wanted reconciliation, sensing his distraction. "Who's the other woman?" she demanded. Mark evaded, but the encounter shook him. He called me in tears. I can't do this to her or you. I drove over our meeting clandestine. Choose, I urged, emotions raw. He chose us, but the guilt etched lines on his face. Society's claws dug deeper. At a work event, Mark overheard homophobic jokes from colleagues. Fags don't belong on sites, one said. He stayed silent, later confessing shame. I should have spoken up. I comforted him, but it highlighted the divide. My open life versus his closeted one. Arguments ensued. Come out, I pushed. Easy for you, he snapped. The age gap fueled more drama. Friends my age warned of exploitation, while Mark's peers saw me as a fling. A breakthrough came at a Chicago Pride parade. I convinced Mark to attend anonymously. Amid rainbows and cheers, he relaxed, even dancing with me in the crowd. This feels freeing, he admitted. But a photo snapped by a mutual acquaintance went viral in our small circle. Dad called, confused. Is that you with Mark? Panic set in. Confrontation was inevitable. We met Dad at a diner, the air thick with tension. What's going on? He demanded. Mark stammered. Jim, we're together. Dad's face paled, then reddened. My best friend and my son? That's sick. He stormed out, leaving us devastated. The betrayal cut deep, years of friendship shattered. Repercussions rippled. Mom mediated, supportive but worried. Society's harsh, she said. Mark lost a contract due to rumors. I faced whispers at job interviews. Our relationship strained under the weight. Was this worth it? Mark asked one stormy night. I held him. Yes, because it's real. Healing began slowly. Therapy helped Mark navigate his identity. He identified as bisexual, a label that fit. We attended couples counseling, unpacking traumas. But external drama persisted. Sarah spread gossip, turning friends against us. A heated phone call with her escalated. You stole him, she accused. He was never yours to keep, I retorted. Community support emerged from unexpected places. An old Marine buddy reached out, revealing his own coming-out story. You're brave, he told Mark. Inspired, Mark spoke at a veterans LGBTQ+ group, his voice steady despite nerves. I watched proudly, our bond fortified. Yet controversies swirled. Online forums debated our story, age difference, power dynamics, the straight-to-gay trope. Predatory, some called it. Inspirational, others argued. The scrutiny tested us, but we emerged stronger. As months passed, reconciliation with Dad thawed. A tentative coffee meet led to awkward talks, evolving into acceptance. I just want you happy, he grumbled eventually. Our journey, fraught with drama, proved love's resilience amid societal storms. In the quiet aftermath, Mark and I built a life together. Subtle at first, then boldly. We moved into a cozy apartment in Wrigleyville, where Cubs games and neighborhood vibes masked lingering judgments. But peace was fleeting. New conflicts arose from within. Mark's bisexual identity sparked insecurities. What if you miss women? I asked during a vulnerable moment. He reassured me, you're my choice. But doubt lingered, fueling occasional spats. Societal backlash intensified when Mark's story leaked to a local paper via an anonymous tip. Likely Sarah. Headlines screamed, Marine's midlife switch. Friend's son involved. Comments sections erupted. Disgusting betrayal. Age gap abuse. Protests from conservative groups picketed his workplace, demanding his firing. Mark stood firm, but the stress aged him overnight. Is this what love costs? He wondered aloud. I faced my own trials. At a new job in graphic design, colleagues whispered, labeling me the homewrecker. Family gatherings turned tense. Cousins avoided eye contact. Uncles made snide remarks. Mom defended us fiercely, but Dad's grudging acceptance wavered. Think of the grandkids, he sighed once, implying our relationship's unnatural end. A climactic confrontation unfolded at a family reunion in the suburbs. Relatives grilled us. How could you do this to Jim? Aunt Karen demanded. Mark, composure cracking, retorted. Love doesn't ask permission. The room exploded in arguments, Bible quotes versus equality please. Dad intervened. Enough! They're family. His defense marked a turning point, but scars remained. Therapy became our anchor. Sessions unearthed Mark's repressed traumas. Military don't ask, don't tell policies. Childhood bullying. I confronted my abandonment fears, rooted in early crushes gone wrong. Through tears and breakthroughs, our connection deepened, transforming pain into empathy. Public redemption came via a podcast interview on LGBTQ+ veterans. Mark shared his journey rawly, inspiring letters from closeted listeners. "You gave me hope," one wrote. The exposure humanized us, shifting some opinions. But controversy persisted. Debates on talk shows questioned if bisexuality was real or a phase. "He's using the kid," pundits claimed. Personal growth flourished amid chaos. Mark volunteered at youth centers, mentoring questioning teens. I joined advocacy groups, channeling energy into change. Our dates, simple picnics in Grant Park, reignited romance, reminders of Malibu's spark. Yet, the ultimate test arrived when Sarah sued for alimony adjustments, citing Mark's lifestyle change as evidence of instability. Courtroom drama unfolded. Lawyers probing our relationship, judges eyeing us skeptically. "This isn't about love. It's revenge," Mark whispered during recess. We won, but the ordeal exhausted us. In victory's wake, we traveled again to Key West, a queer haven. Beaches evoked memories, but now with freedom. "We've come far," Mark said, toasting under palms. Back home, integration continued. Dad invited us fishing at Olive Branch. Awkward at first, it evolved into genuine bonding. "Proud of you both," he admitted grudgingly. Our story, a tapestry of drama and resilience, challenged norms. Love triumphed, but at what cost? Societies evolved slowly, our scars testaments to the fight. As we reflected on that fateful vacation, one question lingered. Was pursuing this forbidden connection, despite shattering friendships and facing societal wrath, ultimately the right choice?